Susan, how long have you been doing real estate?
Since '06.
Since '06?
Yeah.
How'd you get your start?
Ted and Adrian Hudson. So we were friends, and we had a lot of conversation. Started off as an admin for them, and learned a lot about real estate there. Mm-hmm. So have loved it ever since, but it's amazing how I've shifted from high-end homes to new construction. Yep. But I still do some in the pre-existing market.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Who's the builder? Who's the development with out here?
So Eastbrook Homes is the builder of the terrace homes, and Cook's Crossing specifically is where we're at. So I chose to live here because I was spending so much time here working that I really did like the community feel, the location. Byron Center is great schools. So from a resale, even though I'm an empty nester, it was one where it just made sense for me with the amount of hours that I was working. So yeah.
Super cool place. I love it. I want one.
I can solve that problem for you. Just saying.
Okay, we'll talk.
Yeah. I mean, we wouldn't necessarily be neighbors, but we'd be in the same community. Walking distance.
No, I don't know if you want to be my neighbor.
Well, you're not a great pet store, so it is one where it's
I don't know what you're gonna see.
5:30 walk in the morning. I'll be banging on your door saying, "Come on, yep, let's do."
I need that in my life. I need that in my life right now.
There you go. Yeah.
That's it's incredible out here. It's in a good area. I think this is gonna be the area is gonna build out more from Grand Rapids.
Oh, it has significantly over the last 5 years. I mean, really. So the company is working at different price points, right? We're trying to bring the price points down. So we do now offer townhomes. The terrace home was the first price point lower than single family, and now we're doing attached buildings. So townhomes are a 4 to 6 building unit. So there's different ways that we want people to be able to have home ownership. So the management team is always working on different ways of trying to bring that price point down as cost of living is going up.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting. The home affordability is a big issue right now. Opportunity that we in our industries, both of us, have to help out with, and I don't see the housing market crashing anytime soon. So it's things like this. I saw somebody else posting, I went to a talk at Grower, and there's this organization that's building smaller developments, like half-acre lots or something like that, and no garages, and just
they're more like tiny home communities. Yeah.
Because home ownership is important because it's the number one way to build wealth.
Correct. Yeah.
And kids coming out of school are paying, geez, I got a couple right now that are buying a $300,000 house, and their mortgage is about the same as what the rent is.
Right.
Except for the appreciation of value or the equity they're building.
Yeah. Well, I do partner with a nonprofit that provides emergency shelter for homeless families, and that has become an issue in itself, right? Because people that are working and making great money, because the cost of living has gone up, they're taking up the portion of the rental community. So then those that are making minimum wage and trying to get to that next step, they're like in a holding pattern, because everybody's in a holding pattern, right? But when you're truly homeless and you have kids that you're trying to provide a stable environment for, it's really hard when there's not alternatives for people to keep making that move. Right. So people are staying put right now. And that's where new construction has really excelled in trying to solve that problem, or at least provide different opportunities for people to do it. So
the affordability. You know, something interesting we were talking about earlier is during COVID, boosted the housing prices up because the cost of materials went up.
Right.
And then I asked if previously during COVID, if you had transactions that you had to kill or stop because the builder necessarily couldn't finish the basement, and that was what was agreed upon.
Right.
And you said your company is actually...
Yeah, the company I work for is Eastbrook Homes, and the nice thing that they offer is when you sign their purchase agreement, and once you sign off on your selections, whatever the price is at that time, they are carrying it through to closing. Where other builders have it in their contract that if pricing goes up, they're going to essentially your pluses and minuses, right? So there's not a lot of minuses, but there's always a lot, the overs-unders. So there's always,
Who's gonna tell you about the minuses, right?
right, well.
Lumber just went down $4 a
Yeah.
Your purchase price went from $350 to $270.
Well, unfortunately, when material goes down, unfortunately, then labor is going up. I'm not saying that everything goes up all at once,
Okay.
but it is one of those where the costs are real. But we are trying to offer, yep, there's going to be trade-offs, right? I mean, if you want to have a single-family home of 300 or 3,000 square feet, well, that might have to be all 3 levels or whatever instead of above grade. So there are trade-offs, but you're facing that even in the pre-existing market where, you know, at least with new construction, you have the opportunity to make the selections you want, so you're not digging in your pockets to move forward. But there's pluses to both sides, and it just really has to do with timing and location that you're searching for.
Yeah.
So.
What are you seeing out there?
It's a little quiet right now, but I think we're gonna hit the ground running this spring. I really do. I think it's gonna be busy. I really do.
I agree.
Where are you gonna put people though?
Well, I'm gonna build them.
Yeah,
Ann's
and I'm
gonna
gonna
sell their
sell
house and
The break
like,
season.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Anthony.
Finance it, right? You know, another interesting thing we've seen too is we have some investor partners that through conventional FHA means, depending upon where your house is located, or the house someone's buying, there's no influence, there's nothing to do with the borrower. But depending upon where that house is, interest rates are almost 2 points lower
No
than
kidding.
what the normal areas. And I've been screaming from the roof with that one, man. And nobody ever hits me up and goes, "You got a map of those neighborhoods?" And it's like some of the houses. We did one for close to 400,000 in Grand Rapids.
Well, so this is different than an RD loan.
Mm-hmm. It's just a typical conventional loan or an FHA loan, and they're giving pricing for underserved communities.
Oh, interesting.
And the underserved community, I don't understand it. I don't know what the definition is, because it doesn't make sense. Because some of these houses are massive, but there's things like that out right now. Rates are starting to come down, and I think a lot of sellers will give up some points to do buy downs as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. The conversations that I'm having, they are looking at that as well. Quite a few are doing HELOCs so that they can write more of a non-contingent aspect of it. But the first-time home buyers, you know, still are limited. It used to be where parents were supplementing or co-signing. I'm not seeing that in my world nearly as much. They want to keep their finances, you know, tight. So, yeah, I mean, any kind of creative legal financing.
Legal.
You right?
We're not getting it from the laundromat.
There's some that have just been kind of questionable, like, how are you going to make that work? And they're like, trust me. I'm like, oh, I need this in writing. I need proof. So I know that there's creative thinkers out there, but you know, when we're looking at building for 9 months from start to finish, build right now is 6 to 7 months. You know, we have the work ahead of time, but that's a long time to look at somebody and say, you good? You good? So, you know, we really do.
6 to 9 months?
6 months, 6 to 7 months to build, but depending on the complexity, you know, working with a designer and architect team, typically a month and a half to 2.
It makes me wonder how some of these builders put houses up in like a week. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we're at your house.
Yes, welcome.
And about freaking 3 months ago, I seen these weird food things on Facebook. I think I I shared it, and both of you were like, "Damn, we gotta make that."
She commented first.
Okay.
Yeah, that does look good.
Honestly, I am on a health and wellness journey, right? So anything that increases my protein intake without a bunch of carbs in it, I'm like, I want to know what this is about. What does it taste like? All that stuff. It's really not complex ingredients. I mean, it's really very simple ingredients. So,
Tell everybody what we're making today.
well, I don't know the official term. It's like an egg burger. I don't know what it's called. It's not very sexy.
Egg slider?
Oh, egg slider. Okay.
To me, it looks like stoner food, so I would say it's the stoner egg slider.
I wouldn't know about that. That's. I know you do a lot of reading.
The best chefs out there are they're creative.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We'll just call it a slider.
The egg burger slider.
Yeah.
Egg slider.
Egg slider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not the only chef here in the kitchen. So if you
yeah.
need.
Look at the hands.
Well, I'm afraid to give her a sharp knife, so I do have a really sharp knife. So I'll do that component of it.
All right, so explain this. What is it?
So it's really an odd combination. So I'm really perplexed by it. It's a hard-boiled egg, and then it is we're using organic, just so you know. But we are using ground beef, and then we'll make little patties with onions in it and different spices that I have here. And we'll bake that, and then you assemble it kind of like a deviled egg with a burger in between. And then I have everything bagel there. Wait, yeah, okay. What is the spice called?
Everything bagel.
Okay, I always get mocked because I say that last word wrong.
Bagel?
So I don't know, I'm not going to repeat it, but I get picked on all the time. I can find that
East
myself.
Coast? Bagel?
No, I'm just I'm from Wisconsin.
No, that counts too.
So, okay. I'm just saying.
Sausage?
Sausage.
Okay, I don't say that. But we have a lot of different spices. I thought I would kind of change it up a little and throw a jalapeno on it.
Dope.
Right?
You cool jalapeno?
Alright, we'll do some without and some without. We also have avocado option, which I'm not going to force this, but if you want to make it healthier without using mayonnaise and mustard, you can just use, mash up an avocado and put that in there. So I'm not going to force that on you. That's not in the recipe, but I'll do my own recipe hack, and then we'll kind of do which one is better.
This is all you.
So, oh, awesome. All right, cool. Let's get started.
All right.
I am boiling the water already. So, Ann, so we're gonna start with the hard boiling eggs. Woo, boil, baby. All right, so we're gonna bring that to a boil, and then we'll peel them. So you can start by this. You can handle. I'll mix it so you.
No, I
get
don't
your
have.
pretty
No, I
stuff
don't. No,
taken
it's
care
totally
of.
fine. I took
Okay.
my ring off. Anthony's wearing my ring, I think. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's good.
So you cut it this way, and then you scoop out the yolk and put it in here.
Yeah, I'll do this instead. You can do that because you know what? I can see how thin these shells are on there. The white.
Okay. Oh, we're good.
All right, you're not very thick on there.
You can go. I'm trying to figure out what to have her do.
I'll mix the onions in.
Okay, well, hold on. Hold on a minute. 350 for 20 minutes.
So we're gonna heat things up and we're gonna preheat the oven for 20 minutes.
Oh, this is all being taped?
Oh yeah. I have to.
You gotta talk through this.
Sounds glowing.
Okay, the camera going too?
Yeah, everything.
Okay, so I'm gonna start by cutting this in half. So, like you would, as if you're doing deviled eggs.
You know, I love deviled eggs, but I've never made one before.
Really?
Yeah, I'm about to learn
Oh my
right here.
gosh, I do actually make these twice a month. Do you need something? No. We just fold it over, so yeah, it's just, or you can get a bigger pan, but that's absolutely fine.
You ever
Yeah.
put wasabi in your deviled eggs?
Oh my gosh, I wish I had wasabi. I don't. I only have jalapenos, or I have the red pepper flakes. So
Sorry, you know the wasabi we have at sushi restaurants isn't even real wasabi?
it's not.
Golf ball? Oh yeah, it's just a slider.
Yeah, it's a slider. So otherwise, we could just make really large things. But it's gonna look weird with the.
It was, yeah. Hey, I think there's about to be an appetizer for Super Bowl Sunday. It's, you know, or today, Super Bowl Sunday.
Totally. Neat.
Dirty League Affairs. Clarice. Agent Stalin. Alright, show us how you smash that up.
All right,
You gotta put it on the
so
board.
yeah, put it on the board. But pay attention to the size of the egg. You want it to be about this. Yeah, well, it sits on top of it. We're gonna have like the sauce and all that like
Okay.
kind of goes on it.
So just onion
So,
and burger.
yeah.
Mix and match.
Yep, we have it.
Organic.
Organic
Grass-fed
burgers.
from Australia.
Look, I figured that's
Organic.
why we were doing it here, is because you wanted it as clean as
Healthy.
possible for
Gotta
all
be
the other
clean.
stuff you're gonna be eating.
Oh, clean it.
I can't say I've ever done this before.
Have you ever made meatloaf?
Nope.
Oh my god.
Nope.
Oh, yeah, I should have you watch the video, but, so we're gonna end up sprinkling it with the everything.
Stuff is so good.
Okay,
Oh my
before we put it in the thing, does it?
No, it goes on top of the egg.
Okay, alright.
Kind of like the seeds of a sandwich,
Okay. These are yummy.
right? So, do you guys like heat? Like, does the salt and pepper that I have some peppers in it? Do you want me to not do that?
I'm not a big heat girl.
Okay, so we'll just do,
But they might have. But they can sprinkle that on later too.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But just as we're getting things ready.
Alright, so.
Yep, so we're almost at the temperature to get it in there.
I feel like it
So.
needs to be a little bigger than this. Okay. So about like this.
Okay. That looks perfect.
Is that good or a little too big?
It's
Feel
probably a
so
little
top
too
heavy,
big,
a little
but
top heavy.
we don't like it. I wonder
There we go. Perfect.
this might be a little helpful for
Perfect.
you, but yeah.
Next. Oh, you put this in
Ooh,
the
that's a
pan.
great idea.
Perfect.
Yeah, for consistency, the egg doesn't go in the oven though.
Oh,
Just
does
the
it?
burger.
Oh, just
Nope.
the burger.
Yeah, I just wanted you to see like the
Oh,
size,
size?
that it goes
Okay.
into it.
Okay.
But this might be like
But these
super
are all set to
easy.
go in the pan,
We'll
right?
shrink, yeah, we'll shrink a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that might be the same size in
That
which
might be a little small, honey. I think that's good.
you do you. It's all about the protein. So there's really not. The egg is just the
It works.
tool. Yeah, so I'm just getting ready to add the mayonnaise to it, so I'm just kind of breaking up the yolk a little bit. I'm all about multitasking. I mean, you're doing that. I'm gonna do this, so.
What's your favorite thing to cook?
Mine? Oh gosh. You know, I meal prep for families, so I do, oh my gosh, a lot of chicken. Seafood is really my favorite. Salmon specifically, so I've learned how to grill efficiently, and I really do enjoy that portion of cooking. So. No kidding. Oh, I would absolutely love it. You know, when you get it flash frozen from, I won't say stores, but it just loses some of the flavor,
Most
right?
of it's farm raised though too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I am very specific. Okay, so the oven is ready whenever Anna's ready.
Okay.
There's no pressure. I'm just
No
saying
pressure.
that's what that beeping was.
Okay.
So my question is, do you want real mayo or would you like Primal Kitchen mayo? So one has a little bit more additives and preservatives to it. This Primal Kitchen is made with avocado oil. So
This is your kitchen.
I'm gonna go, you're not gonna notice the difference.
I've had that before.
And so I'm gonna go with the Primal Mayo.
It's pretty good.
Okay, avocados are delicious and bring in nutritional aspects. So
And what's your favorite thing to cook?
I'm more of a baker.
Really?
I like to bake. Yeah.
You love to bake.
Could be something simple, even just brownies, cookies, cakes. Yeah, I'm more of a baker.
You ever done
I
bread?
prefer that. I have never done bread.
I would love to learn how to make sourdough bread.
oh, that would be amazing. Okay, so Funny time right now. The dates on things, do you look at them? What is your interpretation of it? Is it a use by date or just a suggestion? Oh, I just want to know whose house I'm going to come over to for dinner.
You know, my son really pays attention to that.
My 14-year-old does.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Mom, this is expired. I'm like, open throw it away.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had a bottle of it was a hot sauce, and it was in my refrigerator forever. I used it.
You use that?
Well,
To
I'm not
me-
sure. I think it just makes it less spicy, right? When it's a spice.
We're gonna be expensive.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Okay. But like for proteins and that, somebody said that in this room said that it was just a sell-by date. I'm not going to name names, but I'm going to have to really 100% not agree with you. No, I'll just bring stuff when I come. It's okay. No, but I'm really not 100% committed, but I am always really interested as to what that looks like. Like, how do you
Yeah.
interpret it?
To me, it depends on what it is. Like, you know, milk, any sort of.
Oh, dairy's out the window.
Dairy's out the window.
Well, that you can smell.
Meat,
right?
I'm not
I
a big
mean,
meat. If it's like expired even a day, I won't eat it. So
To
it's
me, it
just
matters what
depends.
kind of meat. Chicken, absolutely.
That you could let it go or absolutely
No,
throw it away.
it's gotta be thrown
It
away.
gotta
So
throw-
does
yeah.
pork.
Yeah.
I think sausage, like beef. You gotta smell it, man.
Yeah.
well,
It's just better. I've got my shopping habits are different now, so now it's like I don't buy a bunch of stuff because my kids don't really.
I know.
well,
My
and
kids are
the
eating it
cost of
lately.
things though went up too, so you have to be, cost effective
I still
as
throw
well.
away. I have to admit, I throw way too much food away.
That's
Yeah,
when you.
yeah.
That's when you throw gathering. So I am adding fresh cracked pepper and pink Himalaya salt. So again, trying to keep it as clean as possible, but still adding a lot of flavor to it. Flavor, flavor. Oh, I forgot the paprika. Oh, I already added that. I did add paprika because that's what the recipe that I was forwarded had. So.
Can you grab me another pan with some parchment paper?
Pan.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know,
gonna
we're
have two
good.
of them. We're
That's
good?
okay.
Just
We only
leave
did
it?
3
Okay,
eggs.
okay.
So yeah, we're good.
Okay, all right.
So if you want to put it in the, because I have a double oven, so if you want to put, when you're finished,
Yeah.
put it in the top portion of it. So I've never been super great with making this like so super smooth. I don't really know how people do that other than adding a lot of mayonnaise. Oh, that's
It
what we
must be
need.
what. That's what it is.
Um,
I was to say, the look of it, something's missing.
We'll do some mayonnaise.
What kind is that?
It's Organicville.
Mustard.
Or mustard.
It's mustard.
Yeah, mustard. So I've never had this, but I've had quite a few people tell me it's delicious. It just adds a little bit more of that taste and
Boom!
uniqueness
Some of that boom.
to it, right? Here to get that, and then I have fresh jalapenos that we'll top it off with. That's a little bit different than what the recipe calls for, but
You're adventurous.
no, you know what? You guys are like super cool, and I know that you're just gonna go with it.
Everything.
I think the biggest mystery is having the egg as like the bun. I mean, we all know what a burger tastes like. Okay, well, I didn't select this recipe, so I'm just going with what was presented.
Hey, it's good. I'm
good.
having
It's gonna be good.
visions of sugar plums dancing in my head.
No pressure. Okay, so that did make it more creamy. So yeah, it needed more of that. Okay, yep. So 20 minutes.
Okay. Sure.
Nicely. Look at how even they are. So
Good.
all right.
All right, and how did you get into real estate?
Oh, let's see here. I go back to a long time ago, like 31 years ago.
Has it really been that
It's a
long?
long time. So I first started working, I worked for 3 years for a title company, the title office. You guys remember when they were around? Okay. So I worked for them for 3 years and then actually used John Postma to buy my first house when I was 19. So I actually ran into him. Garrard used to do a lot of their rewards and stuff at night. And I remember being at, I think it was the Peninsula Club one night. And we ran into John. And he's like, yeah, I'm looking for a full-time assistant. And I'm like, oh, jokingly said to him, well, what do you pay? And he's like, well, why don't we talk? So 3 interviews over a year to hire me. So then I worked for him for 7.5 years. I learned a lot from him, great experience. And then after that, it was time to go. And so then I worked at Keller Williams East for 12 years. And then I've been at 5-star ever since. I think 8.5 years now for there.
Dude,
So
I did
it's been
not
a long
remember you
time.
at Keller Williams.
Yeah, it's 12 years. That's how we met. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, at the East office. Yep. Susan was there too. That's how me and Susan met.
Yeah.
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 That's how we met. Yeah.
And then the two Capricorns united.
Salty and sweet. Salty and sweet.
I'm not
Guess
sure
who's which?
What's the reward? What's the most rewarding transaction you ever had?
Ooh. That's a tough one.
You ever have any crying?
Yep.
Yeah.
You ever cry?
Do I?
At the
Closings? No.
Have you ever had one that hit you like that?
My mom did actually. I remember my mom crying once, and they were selling their cottage, so she was crying at the table, at the closing table. Yeah, it's always, it should be a celebration. It should be fun. It should be exciting. It should be joyful and happy time. When you're.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say probably some of the most rewarding stuff is helping first-time home buyers and having them close on their first house. I love that. I work with a lot of them.
It's awesome.
And I love it when they haven't bought anything, because you get to teach them the way, right? You get to teach them, because sometimes people get misinformation from other sources or even other agents sometimes, and it's kind of sad. So it's like, okay, no, start over. This is not how it works. This is how it works. So you get to educate them along the way, which I really, really enjoy.
It's like a client for life too. They'll call you for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, how do
They
I
will.
do this? How do I do that?
Yep, they will, and I'm always happy to help. Always.
I want to say I did have a crier that made me cry because he was in his 80s and his wife had passed away. He had to sell the house by himself, and when we got to the closing table, he refused to close. And that was the hardest. I was in the industry 8 years at that point. That
That's
tugged
tough.
at my heart
That's
like
tough.
there was no other. And then to sit there and explain, if you choose not to do this, this could be,
This is what can happen.
yeah, that was like, fortunately that's been the only one, other than one time my closing officer had to go to the hospital for a closing.
Okay.
So, but otherwise, it's been a really great industry and
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are things I really do not want to repeat.
I mean, I've had a couple people cry at listing appointments.
Right.
Back in those hard days, like every listing appointment you went to, it's like, oh gosh, how much money did I gotta tell them to bring to closing?
Right.
It was so depressing. And but you went ahead and did it, and you gave them options. You got family to borrow from, a credit card to put it on. Everybody was just so trapped at that time. You just felt so bad at every appointment you went to. It was bad. Then all of a sudden things started turning around, and I was like, yay! I wonder how much money I get to tell them they're making in this house, and it
That's
just,
a lot
it just
better.
keeps, and it just keeps going that direction. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good year overall. I really do. I think
Same.
it's gonna start kicking off then. I think the spring is a little quiet right now, but this is when you take your breaks, get your house stuff in order, it's gonna be busy. I think anyway, so,
Well, it's the consensus across the industry.
yeah,
It's going to be a crazy year.
yeah, I think so too.
So,
I'm ready.
Susan, tell us what you did with these eggs over here.
Yeah, so as Ann was talking, I did fill 3 of them with the yolk and the mix that we did, because then the patty will go on top, and then we'll use the other portion to put on top as the bun, and then we'll sprinkle it with the topping. It's gonna add flavor and crunch.
What is that called? What's that seasoning called?
You know, it's right there. It's right there. I said it one time and then I'm like, oh, that's the word that I get picked on all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about it. So we'll see how that turns out.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, we have plenty of other eggs that we have made prior to videoing. So that's why Ann made as many as she did. But I am in the process of opening, of course, organic
Oh, it's open.
jalapeno sauce with a little seasoning on there. So I won't put a lot on there, but can you? Ann, do you like the smell of this?
I probably don't.
Oh, smell it.
It smells okay.
Yes, I know that's just the food camera.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh
Like-
yeah.
Heck yeah. So for Ann, we won't put any on, but there's no. So I did not purchase real fresh jalapenos. I wanted some of the juice in there. So
What's the craziest thing that has happened to you?
During a showing,
Yep.
lots of those stories. So a couple of them that stand out. There's always one that's the first thing that comes to my mind. I was showing a pastor here in Grand Rapids houses. They were looking for another income property. And I'm like, we're standing in the bathroom. There's this blue shower curtain with white figures on it. And I'm like, oh, that's an interesting shower curtain. He's like, Ann, look at it close. And it was like positions.
what?
Oh,
Yeah.
like Karma Sutra stuff.
Yeah, yes. So I'm like, okay, all right. That same day, we encountered a bunch of druggies in the basement of a house. So it was smoke, people were passed out all over. It was crazy. And we have a showing schedule, so it's not like they don't know we're coming, And that was the same day. That was a crazy day. So I get down there, I'm first, and I'm like, get up those steps now and run.
It's a good thing you were with a pastor.
Oh, I actually had one just a couple years. I have a lot of stories. A couple years ago, first time home buyer, single girl. We were in Grand Rapids looking at houses. It was a fine area. It's fine. I'm showing houses over here for it. It's fine. And we're in this house. Somebody flipped in, was in on a corner. We're towards the back of the house. And I'm like, I don't hear yelling. It's the middle of the afternoon. I hear yelling. So I look out the bathroom window and there's somebody drove up to the house behind it. There's people hanging out on the porch. It got violent. And they're yelling at each other. The doors swung open. They're on the curb, on the grass of the truck. It was crazy. So I looked at him like, you run to your car as fast as you can. I'll talk to you later. So we did. We both booked it out of there. Because you didn't know. What if gunshots went flying around or something? You don't know. So yeah, I got lots of stories. There's some crazy stuff.
I remember being at a house one time. We found a stolen car in the garage.
How'd you know it was stolen?
I used to go door knocking with a sheriff deputy. That was my partner. We'd buy houses and flip them.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
And stolen car in the garage. Sweet car. And we found bullet shell casings
What?
all around the
property
alleyway
area.
and the backyard
Oh
area.
my gosh.
hmm
Wow. Wow. Yeah, there's some crazy stories.
No?
I got many of them.
If someone today, not when you got him, wanted to get into real estate, what are the top 3 things you would tell them? Top 3 pieces of advice.
Know where your expenses are monthly. Do not assume that all your friends are going to provide you.
Or family.
Yeah.
I would say too, the number one thing I would say you have to really work on your fear, and you really kind of have to hit them hard too. You need to let people know, even on social, that you're in real estate. And I train new agents as well, brand new ones to the industry, and some listen, some don't, so there's, you can't make people do stuff either, but, there's a lot of things you can do. Obviously hit open houses, meet new people, maybe start, here's another idea, especially for today. I think a lot of people, especially, a few years after COVID, people are craving other people. And I think it'd be, to network in some groups and stuff, and I think that would be very beneficial today. And to get to know new people, I think that would be huge. Join some chambers, join some BNI networks, things like that. I think, you know what, maybe you have a local charity that you love, join that, get on the board, I think it would be super beneficial today for people.
I agree. I don't think
it's all about relationships, no matter, not even necessarily with your clients and stuff. It's relationships with lenders, relationships with title companies. It's all of it, right? It all works together and plays together. So
yeah, I think the number one mistake a lot of people do is just networking within the industry.
Yeah, I think you got it. I think today you have to go out. I get people that ask me, I just had it the other day, like, how do you, like, I don't understand how you get your stuff. Like, I'm like, mine's all referrals. I don't door knock. I never have. I don't cold call. I never have done that either. Not even once.
Yeah.
Never. I just, you've got to take care of your people. You got to be good to them. You've got to take care of them. And if they like you, they're going to refer and think you did a great job. They're going to refer you. So my business is all referrals. Like, it's probably in the 90-some percentile, it's all referrals.
Yeah.
And some it's repeat people, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's somebody else referring me.
Team or no team?
Oh, I've been on.
It's up and down, man.
I've been on a couple of them actually. So I think it offers a lot of opportunity if you're in a place that lacks training. If you're with a broker that has a great training process, then there's really not that need for it.
I also think to add to that, I think you need to be a self-starter.
Correct.
I think that's super important. If you're not and you can't figure out the ways to get business or try to, and you're just waffling for months, then you know what, maybe you are better suited on a team where those leads are getting fed to you.
Yeah.
But you gotta be a self-starter and you gotta work. Like, so many people get into this business too. We see people come and go all the time, where they just think it just comes to them, and we all make just a ton of money, and we don't work for it. That's not the case.
TV shows.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
They ruin us.
Yeah. So I used to be a trainer, on the ALC, and I always kind of chuckled inside when people would say, well, I'm doing this because I can control my hours. Well, if you want to be making money in the industry, that's a false statement, because you are working nights and weekends. When most of us want to work during the day, honestly, if we were to speak truth, we really just want an 8-to-5 job, but do what we want, when we want, how we want to do it, and be gone nights and weekends doing whatever we want, right? So in order to be successful, in my opinion, is you have to have that flexibility of going out in the evenings. Yep, it is going to be inconvenient. So I always did kind of get a chuckle on that, but my number one thing that I witnessed while I did work in that position was the lack of follow-up. So people would meet one another, and then they're like, well, I got their name and they have my name, they'll contact me. And especially in today's market, you can't rely on that. Right. You shouldn't you should never rely on it in the first place. But those two things, it just made me scratch my head going, you're not going to be successful if you're not willing to alter your schedule. And I'm not saying every week you have to do that. But if your rule is I'm done with work at 6 o'clock, that's a tough sell.
That's not gonna work.
No.
Because most people will not take time off during the day to look at a house. So it's either going to be your nights or the weekends to get them in there. here's kind of somewhat a pet peeve of mine, and I apologize for anybody that's doing this right now, but hopefully you're successful at it. You were kind of starting to touch on it, but people, they have other jobs coming into this. It's hard. Like it doesn't work. It's like you're all in or you're not. You know, I think I give, you know, somebody's part-time, you know, bartending at night. Okay, what are you showing them houses at night? Because your buyers work all day. They work 9 to 5.
Right.
So I think it's you see more people fail with that than anything. Like they're hanging on to this other job because maybe they just don't have that confidence to let go of it, or they're worried about the income. But that's why you should be saving money. You should always have probably about 6 months worth of savings before you start this career.
I'm glad you touched on that, because I think that's one of the number one things I see is if you started today, you're not going to have something tomorrow.
No.
Mm-hmm.
But the last 3 years, because of how fast things were
It's been
turning,
easy for people.
it's been super easy.
I think this year is hard though. I think
For
it's
sure.
hard for people.
Oh, I see it going back to over list price, 90 people in line at open houses.
Mm-hmm. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of pent-up demand right now, a lot, and I saw the stat today, we have 1.1 months of inventory. So it's really thin right now again, so, yeah. But I also think too, like you need to be available, but I also feel, especially once you get your career going and off the ground, you do have to maintain a balance in your life as well. So, because if you work 24/7 non-stop day after day, you will burn out. We've seen
I've been there.
We can name probably a handful of people right off the top of our head that have burned out. They've had to start all over.
I wouldn't say burned out, but
I
I have
know some that
pushed
have
the
burned out, but
envelope.
you push the envelope.
Yeah.
But there's been some that really they burn out, they pull back, and then they get rid of their teams, some of them, and they just start all over back to ground zero again.
What you want to avoid is the peaks and valleys
Yeah.
in your own business, right? Like, it's one thing to ride the market, but as you push yourself, now you've exhausted everything, so now you are going back to replenish what should have never been empty in the first place, and then you have to rebuild going forward.
The peaks and valleys. We have the same issue in the lending industry. It's a lack of consistency,
Right?
and it's being reactive instead of proactive.
Correct.
How did you guys learn to overcome that?
Gosh.
Because I know you did it.
Yeah, everything I do is on my calendar. If it is not on my calendar, it will not happen. It does not exist.
I
So-
second that on mine.
It is habit, and every day you show up. But after that, I didn't know with the camera if I could bring it over to you.
Is that the pot roast?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So the sliders are almost done. So we have less than a minute for that, and then we'll assemble. Yeah, I mean, it's just continual work. It's not, oh, my phone is ringing right now and I'm gonna put my feet up. Well, that's what the public thinks we do.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you coast, go back into idle mode. You have to keep doing your daily practices to keep that consistent return, if you will. So that's what I've experienced, but.
Yeah, I mean, even when I'm slow, it's a little quieter right now. I mean, I got things going on, but it is definitely a little quieter right now. And for me, I don't panic anymore. Like you used to, oh, my bank account's getting low. I don't panic anymore because every time I do, something happens and it just drops in my lap. So I don't.
Right.
You know what? And I think having faith helps as well. So
absolutely.
you just, I think. So my little dailies, I'm like, oh, I might slack a little bit or something, but I still show up at work every day. I'm there all day long, So I still go even when I'm slow. I feel guilty if I take a day off. That's why I take vacations, everybody, because people think I'm going to I'm not. But that's why I go in, so I can actually have some downtime. Because if not, I feel like I have to work all the time when I'm here. So.
Are you kidding? You don't get downtime when you go on vacation. Your phone rings more.
I know, it's true.
That is true.
I usually sell houses when I'm out of the country, typically.
I would say the hardest part of our industry is having family that can tolerate, support our lifestyle, because we do have to answer our phone. if we don't, especially in this market, they're gonna go on to the next person.
And friends, same thing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I have a couple really dear friends I was just in Jamaica with, and they get it. You know, one of them has a husband that works, as a financial advisor, so he's always available too. So she gets it, So that I travel well with them, they understand,
Yep.
But I try not to make it my whole day. So if I'm busy, I'll try to grab as much stuff and do it in the morning, and then maybe you're by the beach most of the day, and then maybe a couple of messages or whatever during the day, and then I just wrap up at night after dinner.
That's the key, is the work-life balance. What's weird is Jeremy, my buddy,
My buddy too.
my business partner,
Yeah.
my homie. There's sometimes we're messaging each other late at night. I mean, last night I was chatting with somebody in a different state that's 4 hours behind, but if my kids were sitting there with me, I'm putting my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Right.
There has got to be a work balance, and how do you guys do it?
With the kids around?
Well, just in general, like you just said, you got to take you take vacations as part of your mental therapy.
Like if I'm at a dinner, like I'm better about this, but sometimes if the other person you're with at dinner takes their phone out, then I'm tempted now to take mine out. But if I'm at a nice dinner, that phone not all the time, but most of the time it's put away, it's on silent. My phone's always on silent, but it's put away in my purse. So I'm not distracted by it, and I'm focusing on the person I'm having dinner with.
All right.
Good.
So, Anne did a great job. I think this is a great portionally for each egg. Oh, this is going to be interesting. So, no, didn't think that far ahead, but I will not put a jalapeno on yours, but we'll give Anthony and Jeremy the big ones, and then none for you, so I'm not going to touch that, but we're put the tops on, and then we're just going to sprinkle it with the everything bagel. Oh, I said it! I don't know if I said it right or wrong, but okay, well, people just give me a hard time, so, where's the other, oh, look at that.
You make one for yourself.
No, that's paying that. Jeremy's paying it. Looks a little sloppy. Not quite like the video that we saw, but
They're gonna tip over. Yep.
we'll put that. Trying to get it so it's it's not really plate worthy. Let's get the do you want to sprinkle some of the everything
Yep.
stuff on it? I'll move this out of the way. Oh, that looks delicious. Yeah, I don't know if I don't have any clear plates, so.
We'll just take like a paper plate or something.
Oh, paper plate, yeah. There you go. Yeah, fancy. Got it to stand. And Anthony can eat off of that one. Oh, that everything bagel is delicious. Well, hey.
Take a bite at the same time.
Oh my goodness.
Ready? Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh.
They're good.
Wow. You like it?
It's good. Yum.
Such a gentleman, I lick my fingers.
Right? If you want more sauce, go for it. How's the jalapeno on it?
Dude, that's so good.
That was good.
Wow. All right, this has been cool. However, I'm very excited to know what we're cooking next.
I'm open to ideas.
So am I. What are your suggestions? What should we do next?
Put 'em in
send us the recipe.
Put it in the comments below, and do us a favor, like, share, subscribe.